Hi everyone, I'm Dan, first person looter, and here's a little about me. I'll keep it short. Starting from the beginning, I grew up in the early 80s in a technology-friendly household thanks to my dad. He worked in the computer industry and I grew up with a Commodore 64. One of my favorite games was Quest for Tires, which I never completed because I couldn't jump the last body of water, but I played it over and over among a handful of other games on those wonderful floppy disks. I remember the first time I saw a Nintendo. My friend got one and had a game cartridge with both Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt. His favorite was Mario and mine was Duck Hunt because that plastic toy gun controller that you aimed at the television. It was so cool and fun, so immersive. I consider that the reason my favorite kind of game has been first-person shooters. After enough begging and time, I became the proud owner of a Nintendo with the same games and same plastic toy gun controller, testing the limits of how far and how close I could be to the television and still get the shooting accurate. And then the Game Boy came out.
They said it wasn't humanly possible, but now you can have all the power and excitement of Nintendo right in the palm of your hand. Introducing Game Boy.
You mean to tell me I can enjoy video games outside the television room? Yes, please. Pretty please. Mom, Dad, I don't think I can survive without one. The begging eventually worked, and I got a Game Boy of my very own. As a ridiculous bonus, after watching The Wizard, which was basically a feature-length film version of a Nintendo commercial, they successfully sold me on the Power Glove. And somehow, some way, I got a Power Glove of my very own.
I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
And I kept coming up with funky ass like every single day, steering my red sports car in Rad Racer. And then there was quite a long break. I didn't have any new console or mobile game device until the Sega Genesis. This was my first introduction into more serious, more grown-up games. Yes, I played Sonic the Hedgehog, but that took a while. The first time I saw a commercial for the game, with all those gold rings blasting out of Sonic's body when he was hit, I was home, nauseous, trying to eat SpaghettiOs, which looked unfortunately like those rings that Sonic unfortunately looked like he was vomiting out.
Come on, just show me what you got. Going fast is cool, going slow is not.
Just thinking of the game made me sick for a while. It was also my introduction to more realistic style graphics. It was the first Mortal Kombat that sparked my interest in the power of graphical fidelity. I was not only blown away by the look of the characters and the environments, but the gore was so detailed.
Liu Kang wins.
The fact that could be achieved was mesmerizing. I didn't see another game console until PlayStation 1. Some of my most played games were Parasite Eve, Abe's Oddworld, and the American cut of the director's cut of Resident Evil.
What is this?
What is it?
What is it? What is it?
Which I wasn't smart enough to figure out, but my first college roommate sure did. In 1999, I switched from Windows to Mac because of my obsession with iMovie and Final Cut. This meant my gaming turned almost non-existent. That was fine, I was making movies. I looked around for a few games almost decades later and enjoyed the few I could find, and that's how things were up until around 2016, and then I got a PlayStation 4. The controller took some getting used to. I wasn't sure what games I wanted to play other than a couple games I was obsessed with after seeing Sony's 2016 E3 show, mainly Days Gone.
You gotta ask yourself, what does it matter if everyone else is dead?
I had not done much Melee-type games, but Spider-Man, which I've since beaten several times and earned Platinum, and and God of War, also beaten, certainly looked outstanding, and then seeing announcements for The Last of Us 2, and then the PS5. I was definitely far more invested in games at this point, specifically PlayStation games, and was now actively watching and listening to PlayStation-centered videos and podcasts covering all the news and rumors. I was so excited to get my hands on one. And now, I play on one. It's just amazing to see how far we've come, what I've been able to see change from the early 80s until now, to have been introduced early to the excitement and challenge that video games bring with Quest for Tires, to then see how immersive they could be with Duck Hunt and the Power Glove, to see how fast they were approaching realistic visuals with Mortal Kombat, to see how wide of a variety of games there was with the PlayStation and Xbox, to see how large and involved and the sheer scope that the games were becoming. Not only feeling and looking immersive, but now having larger and larger worlds to explore that had the look and feel. And then to see and appreciate the storytelling power games have, which I appreciate as much as anything as a filmmaker who wants to tell stories. A game's ability to hit a nerve, invite conversation, make you laugh and cry. I was intensely invested in the stories of Days Gone, The Last of Us, God of War. So here I am today, looking back at my history, and it's amazing to see where we are now with games. And also with the community that plays and loves the games. The concept of people streaming their gameplay live, let alone doing it as a full-time profession, was a brand new concept to me in 2016. I decided to try it out one night for fun, playing one of the very few games I had on the Mac. I knew so little, I just set my phone in front of my monitor and recorded it that way, uploading the terrible footage to an old existing YouTube channel that had nothing to do with gaming. I guess I easily take a liking to documenting things. I document all my vacations and concerts, so I kept doing it. It wasn't and still isn't for money or fame, just a fun hobby. My most recent change was to create this channel, so I could use it specifically for games, and I thought, what could I possibly bring to the table doing this? Yes, I do it for a hobby, but if it's going out to the public, is there anything the public could gain from it? I realized my unique perspective with games is that I wasn't a professional. Meaning I wasn't doing this for a job, I wasn't getting paid. I played a lot of games and had several consoles, but most all streamers have been playing much more, and up until much more recently. They also had polished edits and showing highlights and best of the best kind of stuff, and I wasn't that good. But maybe that's where my unique perspective could be of interest. What is it like as a non-professional gamer to play these kinds of games? What if I could share raw, unedited live gameplay of my entire playthrough? Perhaps some game developer or anyone involved in the games industry in any way might somehow gain some sort of insight into how their games are received by people like me. Maybe it would inform them and give them ideas on ways to implement different game ideas in the future to make games more accessible to people like me. Now, I don't know if a single developer has watched a single second of my videos. I don't know if I've helped anyone at all or even just entertained someone, but I'm continuing with this channel because it's still my hobby. I don't do it for money, for fame, or for sponsorships, although I'd love some sweet, sweet early access game codes or hardware to check out and to review before the public. But I do it because it's fun, and if it helps and or entertains in any way, even better. I want to thank you for checking out my channel, and take care.